Hey everyone, so I'm starting a YouTube channel for just my studying in the Bible, and you can study with me, like kind of like a study with me, yeah. And first of all, I wanted to start off with an introduction, a little bit about me and my testimony and everything else. I've already tried to record this 2 times, and I had to find out what I had to find out what I was gonna say, because I wrote it all down, but I didn't realize how much extra I wanted to say until after I started recording, and then I realized I didn't have enough time to record it on TikTok, so I had to record it on my regular camera on my phone. Anyway, I'm gonna start out with the verse that I chose that represents my testimony, because I feel like it resonated with my testimony, and it goes very well with it. It matches with it. And it's Job 22, chapter 22, verse 21, and then verses 28 through 29. And I already got it bookmarked. You could pause it if you want to read along with me. I said I have it bookmarked. I don't know. But if you want to read along with me, then you can pause and look for your spot. It's Job chapter 22, verse 21, and then verses 28 through 29. So verse 21 says, "Acquaint now thyself with him, and be at peace. Thereby good shall come unto thee." And then verse 28 through 29 says, "Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. When men are cast down, then thou shalt say, There is lifting up, and he shall save the humble person." Yeah. All right. And that's the verse I chose for my testimony. And now, basically, getting into first I want to talk about what this verse, like how I interpret it and what it means to me, basically, before I get into why I chose it and why it's my testimony, like why I chose it for my testimony. And I wrote it down because I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything. But these verses tell us aligning ourselves with God and being at peace with him will lead us to positive outcomes in life and prosperity. Now, basically what that's saying is, like, if you align yourself with God's will, you will have more positive outcome. You won't, you will feel at peace. You won't need to feel all discouraged all the time, because you know you're doing God's will. If I explain that right. Before I believed in God, I did, but I didn't actually seek his will. I was a lukewarm Christian. I just did whatever. But I believed in God, so it was okay, right? No. But I thought so. And I was drinking, I was smoking, I was hanging out with people who didn't care about my relationship with God and didn't care if I went to heaven or hell. And I'm not saying it's not okay to hang out with people who don't share the same religion, because it's great to be a testimony to others. But if they are hurting your relationship with Christ, then it's probably best to just let them go than just holding on to that. Anyway, but that's not what this is about. I was depressed, and I was just not fulfilled with my life. I hated my life deep down. I just was either too far gone on drinking and smoking to realize, and it wasn't good. And it was messing with my marriage, it was messing with my family, and every relationship I had. Like, I didn't realize why my life was just going so wrong, but I wasn't following God's will at all. I was following my will and believing that he will come save me if my will is not, if my will is not there to, like, if that's not his will, if it doesn't align, then he'll come save me anyway. That's not how that works. You can't just do that, basically. You have to actually follow his will. You have to know, well, you have to pray about it. You have to actually have talks with God. You can't just go around doing your own thing thinking everything's going to be fine. God's got it. And then not have a relationship with him and not seek his will. And not even try. Anyway. Suddenly, after this, like, long time of me doing this, I started feeling really, like, maternal. I wanted a kid. That's just what I thought was meant for my life. And I really wanted to start a family with my husband. So we tried a couple times and I didn't get anywhere. I was discouraged. I cried all the time. I was just super upset, but I was still doing the same exact stuff that God would literally say, this is not my will for you. This is not what I want for you. And you know, sometimes I thought he just wanted to, shake me by the shoulders, But I complained to my grandma eventually about it because, my grandma's my best friend. I talk to my grandma all the time. And she told me that if it's God's will, it will come to you. And that, I always got mad at her because I was just like, I don't know. I want it even if it's not God's will. And I had to understand that you also, if it's not God's will, it's just, now I just lost my whole train of thought. Okay. So yeah, my grandma, my best friend, and she said if it's the Lord's will, it'll happen. And I just was like, I had a love-hate relationship with that saying, because I was like, what do you mean if it's God's will? Like, what if that's what I want? I'm gonna have it. And I tried and tried to do it my own way until eventually she was like, you should get back in church. And that resonated with me. I sat there and I was like, yeah. Oh my gosh, y'all. But yeah, I was like, yeah, okay. I'm gonna get back in church. Like, I don't know, this strange, just maternal feeling that I'm pretty sure God gave to me, which I was just like, I need to go back to church, maybe. And maybe that'll help. And I sat there. I woke up the next Sunday with my husband and we got ready and we left. We went to church. And it was great. Okay, sorry. I keep zoning out and losing my spot. But I had invitation with the church after that. And I prayed. I was like, Lord, if it is your will for me to have a child, I will do whatever it takes to comply, and I will make it, I will comply with you. I will try to follow your, like, if it is your will, I want a child, and I will do whatever it takes. And I left church that day feeling a sense of calmness, and I wasn't discouraged anymore because I left it up with God. I didn't take it on myself anymore. I couldn't take it on myself anymore. It was hurting me. So I just left it up with God, and I said, God, if it is your will, okay. And I calmed down. The next few days, I was calmed down, and I went to bed one night, and I had a dream. In that dream, I had a baby, and I was taking care of the baby. And I woke up feeling like something's telling me I should go to the doctor. Something's telling me that I am pregnant. And, I had already I said, if it is your will, leaving it up to you. And I didn't think that I would find out at this time anyway. I didn't think so. So I'm like, maybe I'm pregnant. I don't know. And I really didn't know. So me and my grandma, we went to my clinic, and the nurse checked me out. I took a pregnancy test there, and they sent me back to the office where the doctor stays, and he was like, well, you're pregnant. And I was just like, wait, really? Because I wasn't thinking at the time that maybe God, hold on, I feel like I gotta sneeze. Maybe God had heard my prayer and saw that I was trying to change and gave me my daughter. And I was just like amazed, because I didn't think that after that it would just happen like that. And I've never been more happy in my life. I've never felt more fulfilled, more at peace. And I owe him so much. Like I already did, like everybody does, but I owe him even more for blessing me with my daughter. And I can't wait to, have her in the hospital. I can't wait to finally have her. And I pray every single day, and I thank him for me to be able to carry my daughter and my blessing, because she truly is. She's a miracle. And I don't, it just blew my mind. And he doesn't need us. He doesn't need man or woman to help him create life, but he lets women be a part of it. I think it's the most beautiful thing. And I've never been so full of joy and just so at peace in my life. And not only that, having my daughter showed me new things, like, the people I'm around. Do I want that around my daughter? Then why do I want that for myself? Would God want that for me? Because we're all God's children. So God doesn't want that for me, and I don't want that for my daughter. And I've been living through that ever since. And I've been more free, more at peace. I did struggle with like a little bit of depression, but I got through it. I survived because I had God on my side. Anyway, and that is my testimony. And I do want to end with something that I thought would be really important. And basically it was, I'm not saying going to church and asking God for something will make it just happen. It has to be in his will. I want to emphasize that. It has to be in his will. Though in order to earn God's will, you have to seek it first and start to live by him. You can't just have God's will. You have to want to have his will for your life. You can't just, I'm gonna have it my way and his way. No, it has to be his way 100% all the time. And, that was hard for me for a while, but now it's not so hard, because I have my daughter, and she's living proof that I need to be better. I need to show forth Christ for everyone else, not just for my daughter, but the world. Because the world needs that right now. I feel like the world needs God. The world needs Jesus. Because it's been crazy. There's been war. Well, not war, but there's been a whole bunch of bombing going on and everything. And it's just been crazy. And I feel like we need more prayer. We need more Jesus. We need more church. And that's how I feel. Anyway, I'm going to say a little prayer, and this is just coming off the top of my head. I don't have a prayer written down. So just bear with me, because it's going to be a little, it's going to be a little off. Anyway, Dear God, I pray for all the people who see this to hopefully it helps them, or maybe, it strengthens their own testimony. I pray that they gather something from what I just said, and I hope that I can speak through, or you can speak through me and help, use me to help other people. I pray for my daughter and that everything goes well. I pray that everyone just has a great night and that they get either they get saved or they grow more through you and in you. And amen. I couldn't think of anything else. I've never prayed on camera before or about like that kind of thing. That's really new to me. So it was kind of rough, but that was just my first time, so please spare me. I hope you enjoyed my little video of my testimony, and I plan to have more later on about just things that God brings to me to teach everyone, because despite me having the introduction, what started this is something was brought to me that I feel like I struggle with, and that needs to be said. And that's, I got it all ready. There's going to be a video soon about it. I just wanted to get my introduction and my testimony first, just so y'all can kind of get to know me, and eventually maybe you'll be able to see my daughter soon in my videos, and maybe even my husband. He's not home right now, but and that's about it. I will see y'all in the next video. If I don't know when it's gonna be. It should be soon though. And I hope y'all have a great Monday, or a great rest of your Monday, and have a good night.